We starting this thing? I'm getting the hang of this. How am I doing? I feel like I'm doing pretty good at this. I'm having a lot of fun. I think I hear my family on the outside. Shh, guys, camera's on. Yeah. Phone away. Me and you, baby. You guys do believe in that, right? Put the phone away. If you want to connect, you gotta put the phone down. Unless you're watching this on your phone, don't put your phone down. Keep that phone in your hand. But you can block anybody who tries to call you while you're watching. Be like, hold on, honey, 15 minutes, I'll call you right back. Welcome back to Really, Truly, Maybe. It's me, Christina. Hi. I actually didn't know if I was gonna be a good talker. Like if I'd be able to hold up a show on my own, just talking to the camera and not physically having somebody there, but I feel like I'm still connecting because I feel like these words are getting out to you and they're reaching you somewhere in the world. So whoever is getting this message right now, I love you. Thank you guys for joining me once again. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Tell your friends to watch. I'm always looking forward to your comments. If you've seen, I do comment back. I'm actually paying attention and trying to make this show even better.
I'm just gonna go because you don't need me anymore.
Okay. Anything else, Paul? I got this. Okay. My very first performance. Hold on. Wait a minute. This probably could have ended my career. Probably sounds like it's supposed to be all great, all wonderful. It was not that. Because in life, we go through things, especially this story. It's the unexpected that happened. But hey, I got through it. And here I am. And yes, oh, somebody's here. I feel like I should invite whoever just rings the bell, no matter who it is. It could be like the UPS guy. I should just have them on. Oh, like Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
Like somebody's popping by and we're gonna have a lesson today. I'm gonna give you a little backstory in the beginning when I first got my record deal. Now, a lot of people thought, or they think to this day, that I was a dancer or that I was trained to be a performer. Not so much. I've been in the music industry and the film industry or just in entertainment since I was 10, 11 years old. You know, you fake it till you make it, honey. You put on your resume, the skills that are on there. Hey, I can skateboard, I ride horses. Yes, I'm a swimmer, I'm a dancer, I'm everything. And when you get the job, that's when you learn how to do it, okay? And I had big dreams, big dreams of being like Michael Jackson or Janet Jackson. That's a story I'm gonna have to tell you about later. Janet was my idol, but I will get into that later. That's the type of performer that I wanted to be. On a stage, full out, dancers, millions of people watching me, just screaming for me. That's what I had in my mind. So I faked it till I made it. Hey, I had a couple different record labels I went to go see, but specifically Island Def Jam was my favorite record label at the time. I had my whole CD book filled with Island Def Jam CDs. I was so excited. I went to go meet the A&R guy, Jeff Fenster, who was in charge of Britney Spears' album, her first album. 1999 going into 2000, you have Britney Spears, you have NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, he was the man to go see. I was 17 years old. I was fresh off of Disney because I was a Disney kid. I was a host on Disney Channel. I'm sure a lot of you remember Tina from the movie Surfers. Disney kids were popping. They were looking for Disney kids to sign record deals, honestly. Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, all these people came from the Mickey Mouse Club and from Disney Channel. I sent in a demo. Jeff Fenster heard it, said, yes, I want to meet this girl, fly her to New York. My mom and I flew out to New York City. We had a couple meetings set up, but specifically Island Def Jam. I met with Jeff Fenster and I told him, hey, I want to be like J-Lo. I want to be like Janet Jackson, like Michael Jackson. And I sang a cappella. I sang I think a Selena song, and I think I sang a Vanessa Williams song. Da, 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 da. Two slow songs that basically you can kind of hear my vocals. And oh my gosh. I know some people here you gotta do a full out development, you gotta make a whole album and walk in there. And these days you pretty much probably have to do that. But I was very fortunate that I was able to get my record deal off of just showing up and singing and being myself. That being said, I had never done a real performance in front of people as an artist. When I was younger, I was in musical theater, so I was amongst a cast of people, so I'd had that experience before. But to actually go and do what I said I was gonna do and be who I said I was gonna be, I'd never done that before. But I believed it. That's all that matters sometimes. If you believe it, you see it, you can make it happen. My mom, she was my manager. She teamed up together with Johnny Wright. You guys know Johnny Wright? He's like a massive manager. He is known for managing NSYNC, Britney Spears, and I think he like even started off with Backstreet Boys, and there's so many people that he worked with. Johnny Wright.
New Kids on the Block, Backstreet, NSYNC, Jonas Brothers, Janet, Justin, Britney.
Everything he just said. Janet, Justin, Britney, New Kids on the Block too? Shoot. He's the man. He's the man. And Johnny had this compound in Orlando. This is like where artists go and they just train their butts off to become great artists. Now these days, like if you see K-pop artists and stuff, they gotta like go to a school, they do vocal training, they do like dance classes. Well, this is the same kind of situation. And you stay there, you stay on the compound, knowing that like the people that you admire from like NSYNC and Britney, all these people all did the same thing in this same place. Your dreams are just coming alive. We got together with a choreographer, his name is Brian Friedman. Brian, hi, I love you. He's the first choreographer I ever worked with. Yes, I can like dance. But he was so patient with me and he was so much fun to work with. So I'd say for like the first 5 days, I worked alone with Brian Friedman and of course the vocal coaches and such. And then we had dancers. These dancers were fresh off of Britney Spears' tour. You see these people now, they're legends, okay? So these people were my dancers. And here I am, I'm like on the floor doing like all these Britney Spears moves. I'm doing all this crazy stuff I'd never done in my life, but I saw people do, figuring myself out like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. So the first performance that they come up with is for me to do at Disney World, Orlando, and it was at grad night. Who remembers grad night? Some of you kids don't get to have that these days. Grad night is when it's like graduation, you're a senior, you're saying bye to your friends, you get to go to Disney World and take over the place from like 10 p.m. at night until like 4 o'clock in the morning. They put me on the roster for grad night, and I actually looked it up who else was performing with me. Tyrese, 3LW was also performing. It was a pretty big roster. I mean, these are some artists that were already out right before I come out, or some of us were coming out at the same time. Back then we had TRL every day from Monday to Friday. You were gonna watch TRL, and if you liked a video, you were gonna vote for that video to be watched. It was a big deal to be amongst these artists. It was my first album. It was called the Christina Milian album. It was 3 to 5 songs that I had to perform. It was like a 20 to 30 minute show that I had to put together. My mom was my stylist, and back then, styling was all about going through some vintage clothes and you like tore them up and you put rhinestones on them, fishnet pantyhose as sleeves. I had a big buckle. It sounds so tacky, and when I look at the pictures now, it's super tacky. But you guys, this was the style back then. Me and my dancers looked fierce for 2001. You winged it and you blinged it, okay? The day comes. I don't think I slept that night. If you don't sleep the night before, you're like dried out your voice. And keep in mind, at grad night, you're performing twice that night. I was performing at 1 a.m. and the second time I was performing was at 3 a.m. Not your usual performance times. So I had my own dressing room. Over there you have like 3LW's dressing room, and then you see Tyrese's, you're walking through the hallway, you got your dancers, you're feeling all confident and everything. In walks, into my dressing room, my record label. So cool. I'm talking about Leor Cohen, Kevin Liles, Julie Greenwald. Now these were like the heads of Def Jam back then, and Jeff Fenster. They all decided to fly in private to see moi. Talk about nervous. Oh my gosh. Gagging. This is the first, and you didn't tell me you're coming, but it's okay, it's okay. They came to support, and technically I think they also came to see exactly what they were dealing with, what they were investing into, you know. They're like, oh my gosh, we came to support you, you're gonna kill it tonight. They leave to go watch from the front of the stage. First song is this song called You Make Me Laugh. One of my favorite songs, by the way, that I wrote. My dancers come out, there's like this big intro dance. Now it's my turn, I come out. Singing my song, ever since the first day I met you, you hang around tight. I don't know if you could hear this right now if you're allowed to, because you might need licensing, guys. But something told me I should watch you. And I'm looking out at the audience and people are like, and I'm like, I'm singing. And then someone's like, and I'm like, oh, oops. they can't hear me. But I keep going because I'm like, maybe it's the sound guys. They haven't gotten it right. Keep doing my little dance or whatever. But nobody in the audience could hear a darn word that I was singing. All they could hear was like the little parts of the background vocals that come in like, what you, little things like that. Finally, the sound guy, he like calls me over to the side, come over here. Switches microphones with me, gives me the microphone. Again, guys, again, nothing. I could just see my life flashing before me, just like so quickly. Like, this is my first performance. One thing I was always taught is to keep it professional. This was not my fault that they couldn't hear me. I wasn't singing bad, I wasn't doing anything wrong. So I just kept going and singing, and then I just did this one move where I spin around. And when I spin around, I throw my hands in the air and the microphone lands on the floor. It could have been, yeah. Because I'm like, how did I let go of the microphone? That's like your weapon of choice when you're out there on the stage. And to let go of my microphone in the midst of, by the way, nobody even hearing me even sing my song. And the first time they're ever hearing my songs and just seeing my microphone just land slowly on the ground and go, boom, boom. Thank God the sound wasn't on because it would have been worse. Truly, really, yeah. Well, I pick up the microphone. I finally look at it. There's a little button on the bottom. On. It was on the off side. So the guy gives me the microphone when it's off. Hello. I turn it on. I did what I could. I killed the rest of the show. When I got off the stage, the label came backstage and they were so nice to me. They were like, oh no, you did so good. And let me tell you guys, I laughed and laughed and laughed till I couldn't speak. The fact that I like laughed so hard, I think that they were like, okay, this girl's crazy. And they were actually supposed to leave after that performance, but you know what? They ended up pushing their flight and they stayed so they could watch the next performance. It wasn't horrible, but it was horrible. We all trip, we fall, and then guess what? We get back up. My music career has definitely had its ups and downs. A lot of good, and there's also been some stuff that has definitely been on the downside. I've never really gotten to open up and share those things. I withheld them back then, but now I feel like I'm in a really comfortable space now to be able to share them with you. Make sure you subscribe. We could talk more about my experiences in the music industry because there are some really juicy stories. Really, truly, maybe. It is what it is. See you next week.